beer in my left hand and a disc in my right hand. What makes the perfect bar game?
100 years ago this week, America made the worst decision ever. We're going to toast Prohibition.
With Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Rec Room in Phoenixville. Nice shot. For What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Montgo Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Rec Room by Conshohocken Brewing Company in Phoenixville. So much going on in Phoenixville.
I love it. We're in the middle. You can't see here, but shuffleboard tables, ping pong tables, foosball. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And we are drinking the Blueberry Vice. Here you go. Here's
Cheers.
to you.
Good looking beer,
Which
man.
it's a sour wheat beer. And here's the thing about this beer: 4.1% alcohol.
Yeah, you can drink more than one. You could drink more than 2.
Well, there you have it. And that brings us to our beer swap for the day, which is sessionables. And we've debated what that is, but for the purposes of today, we decided anything under 4.5, right?
4.5% will allow you to drink more than one, I think. Everybody's definition is different, definitely. And so...
Everybody's tolerance is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we went under 4.5, and I brought you what's been one of my favorite local beers for a long time, which is the Yards Brawler, which the thing to me is this beer has so much flavor that it always surprises me that it's as low in alcohol as it is.
It is surprising, and this might be the definitive session beer in the Philadelphia area to me. I mean, look at that. It's a beautiful beer, beautiful head. It's just gorgeous.
And it's a bit, you know, I like the bitters, although I always think that's misnamed because people think it's going to be really bitter. It's not. It's just got a lot of flavor to it.
It is a lot lighter than their ESA, which is the one that they started out with. This is sort of toned back a little bit, lighter body.
Malty, very malty.
Every bit as much flavor. I got to tell you, I've had this beer on cask at the Yards Cask Ale or Real Ale Festival that they have, and this compares absolutely right up there with the very best British milds, in my opinion.
It's good beer they've been doing for a while. It's got a great label to it, and this is my sessionable for the day. What do you got?
Okay, so this I went a little bit different. This is a Kolsch from Henniker, which is from Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure exactly where. And Kolsch is basically a German session beer, and we'll notice the first of all, it's got a nice head on it. I'll hold that one, let it come down. I've been overpouring beers lately.
Look.
Yeah.
Is there actual beer in there? Okay.
That's my bad.
There you go.
All right.
That's fine. We'll make it
I'll start
work.
again.
Okay.
So Kolsch is a German-style beer. It comes from Cologne, which I'm headed to in 2021.
You are.
Yeah, it's a great trip. This beer is definitely made. You can start drinking this beer at 9:30 in the morning, I think.
And this one, and nothing against it, it's a lot lighter. It's crisp, but it's very light, and so it doesn't have a whole lot of body to it, and maybe that's what you're looking for.
It doesn't. So what I would say, this is more of like a lager type of beer, even though it's sort of a hybrid. This is clearly an ale, a little bit heavier but flavored. This one's going to be lighter and more refreshing.
And that is, what we say, 4.1, I think, on that one?
I believe it is, yeah.
All right, a couple others that we brought. This is by Bell's. I just love the name. The Prairie Grass Dividing in their Leaves of Grass series to honor Walt Whitman. That's very poetic.
Right. Hey, Camden's own, man.
That's a 4.4. We had this in a previous episode. I know you like it more than I do. It's the 2SP Pale Smoke.
Another light body beer. I think it's around 4.5% alcohol.
4.4, yeah.
Right. And that is a outstanding beer. It's sort of like the Hella style beer.
And this is the Whackers Bohemian Pilsner, another good local beer, which comes in at 4.4 also.
From Lancaster County. If you're looking for a session beer lager that has lots of flavor, you can't go wrong with a good Pilsner.
Great story I want to get to, and this happened a little while ago, but we're just kind of getting to it, which is Marcus Peters is a defensive back for the Baltimore Ravens, who won a game in Buffalo and won it when he made a great play with 1:03 to go in the game. After he did it, he jumped into the stands in Buffalo, but he jumped among some visiting Ravens fans. There was a beer in the hand of the guy where he jumped in. He took the can, it was a can, and he took it, and he just essentially, he drank that baby.
You gotta love it. I mean, spur of the moment.
Here's a good picture of it right there.
Spur of the moment type of thing. I'm sure that the NFL just loved that he did that.
Well, they fined him $14,000 because the game was not over, and you are not allowed to consume anything alcoholic during the game. By the way, he makes $9 million a year, so the $14,000 fine probably did not ruin
Pocket change.
Yeah. Okay. I will just say this. $14,000 for a beer is not that much different from what they charge at those concession stands some days, right? I would say.
I hope he enjoyed every drop.
Yeah, and Bud Light did the right thing. I guess it's a Bud Light that was being consumed there. Bud Light offered sympathy to him and donated $14,000 to his favorite charity.
You know, like him or not,
Very
those
smart.
guys are on top of it all the time. About the guy that caught the beer with the kid in his hand at the World Series. I mean, they're right on top of it. Give them credit.
One other thing, and as we do this show, this has already come and gone, but I want to derail against the Dogfish Head. We like them. We think their stuff is good. They put out a beer in whatever, November, December. I don't like it.
Yeah, okay, boomer beer. It's a line that you're seeing on social media a lot. We're both boomers, so maybe we're taking this a
So
little.
what happens is somebody who's a millennial, a Gen Xer, doesn't like something you say, they dismiss you with okay, boomer, like okay, old guy, whatever.
Well, we're not all the same, so that's what I don't like it. But you know, again, they're a lot of beers have been named after sort of come and gone kind of fatty, trendy names.
Yes,
so.
yes. Hopefully by the time this is on the air, that will have been passed.
Yeah, I hope so too.
As well. Okay. Also, when we come back, being here at the Rec Room, we are surrounded by all these fun games. We're going to talk about all the great games that people love to play in bars. With Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. From the Rec Room in Phoenixville, it's What's Brewing.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We are at the Rec Room in Phoenixville, the Conshohocken Brewing Company, and I'm all ready to play ping pong all afternoon. You got your shuffleboard stuff, and that brought us to the conversation of great barroom games. Oh, I like working with this. So let's talk about it, and you kind of have your big three. Let's talk about those.
There are three big games I think you see more and more in bars these days. The number one I think is darts, because it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
And there's dart leagues all over Philadelphia and the whole region. And it's a game that has been played in the Philly region for a long time.
You said there's history here?
Yeah, it's actually the first, this is unbelievable, but the first dartboard in America was hung in a bar in Philadelphia in the Nicetown section.
Who knows these things? Is that bar still here?
I don't think it is here anymore. It was on Ridge Avenue in the Nicetown section, and it was hung by an English immigrant. And he actually went on to start a dartboard company in Philadelphia.
All right, number two is pool. And as we're doing this, I just want to play this, this is a famous old Miller Lite commercial back from 1979. Steve Mizrock was he's a pool hustler, and he makes this shot. Joe Sixpack, how did he do this on the first try?
Yeah, he did not do this on the first
No?
try. I believe it was in his book he admitted that it took him 181 takes
God.
over 8.5 hours.
You know who I feel for? I feel for the guys who are the extras in the commercial who for hours and hours and hours just had to watch them do it. Have we worked as an extra in movies? I know it's a lot of standing
You get
around.
paid by the hour, though, right?
Yeah, you do. That's true. All right, and number 3, which is the one that we have so much fun with here, is the Shuffleboard.
Yeah,
Love it.
Shuffleboard was one of those games that was like you would just find it in weird little bars years ago, but now it's sort of made a comeback, and it's hard for me to believe because a good shuffleboard table is what, maybe 15 feet, 20 feet long?
At least, yeah.
So it takes up
What's
a lot of
regulation
space.
shuffleboard? Do we know? 27 feet.
27 feet. It
Hello.
takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
So, but we're seeing these in bars more and more often, and I think it's because it is the essence of a great barroom game, and that is that you can play the game without putting your beer down.
Right, you can. And you told me, I love this little fact, it was once illegal in Philadelphia.
It was banned in Philadelphia in the early 1800s.
Why?
Because they decided that it was a lot of illegal betting going on with the game.
You think?
And it actually got thrown out. That ban got thrown out of court when a bar owner went in and argued successfully that no, it's not a game of chance, it's a game of skill.
Indeed it is, except when I play you. All right, we asked our viewers to give us some others. I'm going to give you some that came up. Bubble hockey came up. Cornhole, which we did at Linvilla this year, which is
Right.
fun. It's got to be an outdoor place.
I guess, yeah.
Probably. Video games, the most popular of all time being?
Golden Tee. by
Love
far.
Golden Tee. The
Yeah.
Jug Handle over in New Jersey used to have big time
Yeah.
Golden Tee. Somebody said a giant Connect 4 at Crafty's on Grant Avenue in the Northeast. That's Brian Sokolovsky.
I've seen those. So that game is sort of mindless. It's
Yeah, I
like
agree.
tic-tac-toe.
Yeah. Jenga. You're an anti-Jenga. This is a cross you really want to die on.
Yeah,
huh?
it is. It is. It just makes too much noise for any bar. It's disturbing.
All right. Oh, there you go. And what else? Bocce? Yeah?
All right, there's a couple bocce bars in the Philadelphia area because we have a lot of Italian immigrants. It's a game that is very popular. Another game that you can play without putting your beer down.
Okay, foosball, which you do need both hands for. We have that here at the rec room.
I love foosball.
Do you?
I went through
Never
college
been that much
playing
of a
it.
fan.
I-
I'm always
oh.
like guys spinning and never
Ah,
interested.
spinning. You can't do that. That's not allowed to do that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't even know how to do it. All right. Well, there you go. Video games. We mentioned Golden Tee, but I'm kind of anti-video games at bars.
Well,
It's not social. The others are all social games.
you're right about that. Although I will say that there's the place in Fishtown Barcade that has a ton of the old school video games, and I love it. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Whatever happened to pinball?
You don't see it as much anymore. That's another game. A video machine takes up a lot less space than a pinball game, but I still love pinball. Pinball Wizard.
Were you really?
Yes.
Quoits? I have no idea what that is.
It's like horseshoes for people.
Indoor horseshoes?
Yeah, I
Is
guess.
that what it is? Okay. And then some people said, like, board Trivial Pursuit. You go into a bar, a lot of places will just have it on the table.
It's fun. It's a conversation starter. Nobody ever keeps score in that. And actually, you've been starting to see a lot of places that offer just board games. I've been to a lot of breweries that have a big stack of board games, and people sit down and play. And Battleship is a big favorite.
When I was 7.
Yeah, well, or when you're drinking a lot, I guess.
And then finally, I don't know if this counts as a game or not, Quizzo.
Boy, that in Philly is
I
Quizzo
know it's
capital.
big, but it's
so-
not really a bar game. It's an activity, I guess, as
But
opposed
it does
to a
bring
game.
people together.
Yeah, that's true. But the one that came up the most when we asked people was Shuffleboard. And so I'm delighted that we have it here. And finally, somebody says the game that he likes is when Aguilar dropped, this is Bree, it might be a woman, Bree Avila says, every time Aguilar drops a ball, drink a beer. That's my bar game. You've probably been very drunk this year, at
Yes.
least when he plays. All right, coming up. See, look, we're going to enjoy this. 100 years ago today, this became illegal. It's the anniversary of Prohibition, 100th year. We're going to talk about that next from the Rec Room in Phoenixville on What's Brewing.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Rec Room in Phoenixville. Joe Sixpack, by the way, you can follow him on Twitter at Beer Radar. I'm Glen Macnow. You can follow me at Real Glen Macnow. You can follow the show at What's Brewing PA. We always love your input. And we're about to enjoy a Life Coach beer by Conshohocken Brewing.
Is it IPA?
It is. And 100 years ago, well, it's an India Pale Ale, IPA, yes. And 100 years ago, Joe Sixpack, we would be drinking our last one of these. It's the anniversary of the worst decision ever made by the U.S. government. And there have been many.
Exactly. At the stroke of midnight on Saturday, January 17th, 1920, was the very first day of Prohibition. And we're coming up, as you said, the 100th anniversary of it. Actually found this great front page from the New York Times of that day.
They buried the story.
Well, it was, it's all the way over here.
Look at this front page. You got 3-line column, no war with Russia, blockade. Who cares about that? What about beer? They buried this thing.
Over here, and it was, had one of the most amazing impacts on America in its entire history. The headline, John Barleycorn died peacefully at the toll of 12.
It's a good headline. I don't know about the peacefully part.
Yeah.
You and I have done some stuff on Prohibition and what came out of that, but going into Prohibition, tell me about right before it happened. What were people thinking?
So one of the things you have to remember is that the majority of Americans did vote for Prohibition to happen. They wanted this to happen, and a lot of it was led by religious leaders. Here in Philadelphia, we had the Quakers who were pushing it.
Yeah.
Notably, there was the famous Philly baseball player, who actually wasn't a great baseball player, but Billy Sunday. He became an evangelist. He was a huge temperance leader. He declared, as we went into temperance, that the slums will soon be a memory. We will turn our prisons into factories and our jails into storehouses. He thought, and did many other people, said this was going to be the beginning of an era of good times for America.
It reminds me, or it evokes to me, which is that the drug epidemic, the crack cocaine and all those things which kind of in some ways create poverty, create crime. They thought, hey, if we just make alcohol illegal, that'll go away. Well, making it illegal clearly doesn't make it go away.
It did not. I mean, they thought that crime was going to go away. They just thought there would be none of this.
Because they thought people wouldn't drink.
Exactly. So,
spoiler alert, wrong.
So on the night beforehand, we had a lot of people throughout the country who thought this was it. We're going to have funerals. We're going to have wakes for John Barleycorn, as the New York Times said. There was a famous party held up in New York City by a guy named George Sheldon, who was a publisher of, I guess, magazines in Philadelphia. He took over the Park Hotel in New York City, had 200 guests. Everybody wore black. They had black tablecloths, black candles, black caviar, and a black coffin filled with bottles. And they sang these funeral dirges as it went on.
Did they drink?
They drank what they thought was going to be the end of it.
So, how long did it take them to realize? I may be jumping ahead in the story, and we'll circle back, but how long did it take them to realize, oh, it's not going to work?
Right. It did not take long at all. I mean, we had, just beforehand, they thought that this was going to be the end of all kinds of vice and so on. In fact, the Philadelphia Ledger, old newspaper in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Ledger?
Yes.
Don't know that one.
My dad was delivered it as a kid.
Your dad was alive in 1830?
Not that old, not that long. No, we're talking the 1930s there.
Okay.
So, but they ran a story, which I had to laugh at, because it was about the last guy in Philadelphia who was arrested for drunkenness on the eve of Prohibition. On this.
Oh, the last guy.
Yeah, the last guy ever to be arrested for drunkenness.
What did they have to say about him?
They described him as a gentleman who lives on Cree Street, which is the street that I used to live on in Philadelphia. Yes, in the
Guess
Fishtown
his house
section.
number? Probably
No,
yours.
It may have been.
I think there's some spirits in more ways than one in that house.
Anyway, they described it as him as being stewed, hard-boiled, and cuckoo late at night. Thought a little man, he had the strength of 10. It took 4 patrolmen to put him down. He broke furniture, handcuffs, and chewed up a patrolman's finger before he was finally carried off. So they thought this was going to be the last guy who would ever be arrested for drunkenness, and little did they know.
So when it became illegal, you obviously have to police it, right? And we've all seen when they used to have all the, I forget what they were called, the FBI guys or whatever, right, used to do it. Like, did they have people all over the city going door to door looking for my beer?
Well, they really didn't know how to deal with this because it was a new thing. They had no way of knowing. There was a lot of rules that they had to sort of make up along the way. But the federal government only sent 50 people to Philadelphia to enforce this, and it completely
50.
Yeah, for the whole.
So they had a population of
over a million. Yeah,
I was
so
gonna say a couple million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good
yeah,
luck.
it was not, and so it got so bad that they ended up sending this guy into Philadelphia. He's a Marine general, very famous war hero named Smedley Butler, and he comes in. He's this guy was
couldn't
great.
name the
I know.
character better than that.
I know. Went to Haverford School. I mean, this guy was like famous, and he comes in, and in the first year he ends up closing 2,500 speakeasies.
Wow.
Right, there was that many of them around.
Smedley had certainly earned his paycheck.
But he went too far. He closed up the Bellevue Stratford Hotel, stopped them from selling. The locals went nuts about that. The politicians went nuts and drove him out of town. And he has this famous line that he said on the way out of town, war, General Sherman said, war is hell, but he never came to Philadelphia.
All right, real quick, we got just a minute. So what happens to all the breweries at the time? Right, Schmitz is here,
Yeah,
Yingling out in
Schmitz,
Pont.
Ortlieb's, they all closed up. Many of them went on and started making other products like ice cream. But you know what the little secret is? They all kept making beer of some sort. I mean, maybe not Yingling, I don't know about them, but locally, I remember the owner of Ortlieb's, the son of the Ortlieb's owner once told me that they continued making beer well into the Prohibition. And I asked him, how did they get away with it? He says, well, we never got the memo.
Medicinal purposes.
Yes.
And it still is. Hey, coming up, we're going to talk to our pal Sean Smithson. He's the general manager of this place. Find out what's going on at the Rec Room in Phoenixville. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company's spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly Blonde Ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. All of our spots are built for year-round fun, so you can enjoy a cold one in every season. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beer at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Rec Room in Phoenixville by Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'm Glen Macnow along with Joe Sixpack. Before we introduce our guest, a real quick update on our brew down.
That's right, we're getting down to the final four here. These are the first two into that bracket. We've got, in the sour and tart section, we had Dogfish Head Sea Quench, a very popular beer, beat the Victory Sour Monkey, both really fine beers. And in the closest, I think the closest one we've had the entire time, we had Sly Fox O'Reilly's Stout Edge Out Iron Hill Pig Iron Porter.
Wow.
So a real nice tight race.
So those two are in the final four as we now move ahead. And we're about to introduce our pal, Sean Smithson, who is the general manager of this place. Thanks for having us. What are you drinking
Thanks
today?
for being here. I am having the Mr. Robusto Robust Porter, made by Conshohocken Brewing, one of my favorites.
Okay, so this place is now been open for 2 years, and the Rec Room is really fun because you've got how many ping pong tables?
We have 5 ping pong tables here.
Shuffle bowling?
We have 4 shuffleboard tables.
Shuffleboard.
And then we have one foosball table in the back as well. We have a shuffleboard league that we do here. So a lot of people come, they get good beer, they get good food, they play games, you know. A lot of times families come out. It's a good crowd. So.
We talked about shuffleboard a little bit earlier in bar games. Do people really get this game? I mean, when
they really do. I mean, there's a lot of places that do not have this. So, you know, when people realize they can come and play.
You devoted a lot of space to it. It's amazing. I think it's a very fine game. It's amazing to me how much space you do devote to it here at the Rec Room.
A lot of people, they walk in and the first thing they see is the bar and just normal restaurant atmosphere.
Do you have any ringers here that show up who are really, really good?
Our Shuffleboard League, we have some people that are nationally ranked that come in and play here.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Nationally ranked?
So the way you could be
Yes.
a pool hustler, you think somebody's going to be a shuffleboard hustler?
Sometimes they have to
Maybe.
take off. They have to go to
that's-
Reno.
that's
yeah,
great.
exactly.
Glenn, you just want to know who they are before you put any money down on the table, okay?
Absolutely, right, yeah. 2 years ago, I believe, you opened, well, this place opened 2 years ago. 6 months ago you opened upstairs. Tell people about that room.
All right, so we have a fully operational second floor bar, third bar in the building. So we have 100 seats up there, cafeteria style. We use that for anything from events to concerts to wedding rehearsals. We even had a reception up there. So it's been very beneficial, just allowing us to offer a lot more as far as
Sure.
events and all that go.
So concerts, because concerts is kind of a new thing for Conchi Brewing, right?
Yes, doing a lot more in the live music. Phoenixville is very, as much as it's grown with beer, it's also grown a lot with live music. So people really they want to come out, they want to have a good time, they want to drink good beer, and they want to hear good music. So we've been offering a lot more of that. We have a lot more ideas for the new year coming as far as what we do with this space, but we're excited.
I'm a big fan of barroom games, and I just wonder, you've been in the business for a little while. Do you see a difference in the type of bar if it has games versus those who don't?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays people go for the environment. It's, everybody wants good food, they want good beer, but if you can have that and offer something that somebody else doesn't have, it gives them that much more reason to come out and, have fun.
And so with the ping pong, with the shuffleboard, I keep calling it shuffle bowling. You remember shuffle bowling?
I do. I had that. Yeah,
I love that game.
I still have a.
Okay, with that, kind of first come, first serve, or how do you do it?
So during the week, every other day except for Friday and Saturday from 5 p.m. until 12, we do free play. So it's first come, first serve, unless a party has reserved it otherwise. But for the most part, first come,
And
first
that's
serve.
important because it's free.
It is. It is
You're
free.
not charging people
No.
$10 an hour, $20 an hour.
We
to
have
play
very
the
nice
games.
equipment. We will just hand it to you. You are allowed to play. Friday and Saturday nights, we charge from 5 p.m. until 12 p.m. just to make it fair for the people coming in, to be able to get on a table, have fun, and just, for the...
Do you have anybody who can give me tips so I can beat Joe Sixpack the next time around?
I wish I could tell you. I am
killing
not
me.
as good. I tell you what, my bartender, Eric Bell, is fantastic.
Really? You can
so,
coach me a little bit?
Yeah, he's
All
a
right.
little bit better at that.
All right, there you go. You go backhandy left or you do the push?
Yeah, if I can get it down the board, I'm good enough. That's about it.
Sean, thank you so much for having
Thank
us,
you very
hosting us,
much.
and joining us today. Joe
Cheers,
Sixpack,
boys.
always a pleasure. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you again next week. Look forward to it on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Macnow Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.